Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Inside Lowell podcast. I am your host, Teddy Panos, coming here from the Well Point Studios here in beautiful downtown Lowell. And today, we're going to give you an inside view of African Festival Lowell 2025. It's taking place this Saturday. We're recording it on Wednesday, June 18th, but the festival itself takes place Saturday, June 21st at the Sampas Pavilion along the banks of the beautiful and mighty Merrimack River. And joining me here in the Well Point Studios to tell us all about the festival, what it entails, what it takes to put it on, and more importantly, what it means to them and to the African community. Two guests in studio. I'm going to start with Ben first because people probably recognize Ben Opara. Wow. You've run for office a couple of times. You've been very active out there in the community. So, Ben, you are with the African Cultural Association. Yes. Thank you for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you, Teddy. You know, it's always a pleasure. Just to say, the year rolls around so fast these days, and
it really does. Yesterday we were here. Yesterday we were sitting in here doing the same thing.
We're
right?
back here again, and you know, it's a good reminder that we need to start the year well.
Yes, and I'm glad to have you here, and I'm also glad to have Mercy Anampiu, if I pronounced it correctly. The first time I did I get it right the second time?
You got it.
All right, good. Mercy, thank you for joining us. You too are part of the African Cultural Association. Yes. Along with Ben and many others who do the work. But you're also, people may have seen you out there in the community and not really known it because you do a lot more than just be involved with this festival. So tell our audience a little bit about yourself and how you came to be here today.
All right. Thank you, Ted. And thank you, Well Points, for hosting us. So I am Mercy Anampiu, as you heard, and I work at the Health Center. I'm the Senior Director of Community Engagement. And in my free time, I do a lot of things, including being on the African Cultural Association membership. I'm actually a volunteer. I don't hold any particular posts, but I consider myself one of those people that need to be part of the festival to help spread the word, to bring different resources to the community, to make sure people are healthy and are connected with resources in the community.
Yeah, and you mentioned before I hit the record button that all of you who are doing this, Ben included, you all have other roles in the community. It's not just the African festival that you're involved with. That's kind of just a spin-off and a celebration of everything you do the other 364 days of the year, right?
Entirely volunteer.
Yeah, exactly. Neither one of you is getting wealthy off of it. So what does it mean to you to have this festival happening year in and year out now? And I think, Ben, you told me last year that it might be the largest African festival in all of New England by this point, right?
Yes, it is.
So what does it mean to you as members of the African community in Lowell to know that your city, your community plays host to this and that you had some kind of role in making it happen?
Well, I'll let Sister Mercy go off first with that.
So it makes me feel honored and proud. And because the festival is more than a festival, it's a celebration of our culture. Sometimes people don't get to know that Africa is a continent, it's not a country. And President Mandela was not our president. He's never been the president of Africa. He was the president of one country. So it's really an opportunity to educate ourselves, to remind ourselves of our roots, to remind our children of where we came from, to educate them around who we are, the culture that we bring, and then also to educate the general population on who is the African community that you are all serving at Market Basket, at the Health Center, at Law General, at Middlesex, at UMass Lowell. So it's exposing the African community in a very unique way, but in a celebratory manner where we are sharing our true taste of Africa, which I'm sure we're going to be talking about. So it makes me feel so good to educate everybody.
Yeah, for Ben, for you, what does it mean?
Yes, so it's all encompassing, Teddy. We've been at this for quite some time now. This is the 25th year of the festival, about the 23rd. Yeah, but for the COVID and so on. So it's just, it has become almost like a routine and something, you know, a kind of a balm or a treatment of sorts for you to reconnect and know really and re-anchor yourself to your heritage and your culture. So in the months leading up to now, beginning January, when we begin all those series of meetings, I tend to educate myself again on the diversity of the African culture, the magnificence of the Africans in the diaspora particularly. This year, we've been able to really look at various facets that our culture brings and attributes that we bring to the wider community. I mean, going to what Sister Mercy said earlier on about this misconception of Africa as a country, and I know it's been spoken about many times rather than a continent. We decided this year for the first time to introduce what we're going to call the Parade of Flags. And in my research for this particular segment of the festival, I got to find out that there are some countries in Africa that I didn't even know about. I am talking about Africa as a continent. There are countries I never heard of, like Eswatini. I never heard of Eswatini. Then I got lectured.
And you got to educate us.
Exactly, that it's a new country that changed their names or something. So it is really, it's really a learning experience and a fulfilling experience that we have year in, year out.
So that's a fascinating point the two of you just made. I'm Greek. My parents came from Greece, but everybody understands Greeks and the Italians are different, and the Irish and the Swedes, and they don't call us Europeans, but in Africa it's funny that you have the same kind of diversity within the continent, different histories, different different foods and dance and music and whatnot. And I love the fact that you're actually doing a celebration of that with a parade of flags.
Yes, it's gonna be quite an experience.
I'm really looking forward to that.
A lot of people are really looking forward to this. Initially, it was planned to be one of the first things, one of the first entries into the festival. But thanks to Sister Mercy, who insisted that no, this is going to be a big deal. We better bring it to the end of the festival.
Yeah, that's right. You want the crowd there.
Exactly. Yes. So it is something that a lot of us are looking forward to.
Absolutely.
All right. So we're going to talk about what is going to actually happen on the banks of the Merrimack River. But let's talk a little bit more about who puts it on. Obviously, you two are part of a committee, a large group of volunteers who put it together, the African Cultural Association. Tell us a little bit about this group and the work that you've done. When was it formed and founded, and who are the members?
The ACA was formed in year 2000, and with the sole purpose of doing the festival. The ACA doesn't do anything else, at least for now. A few times we've done things outside of the festival, like when we brought a professor from Kenya, Professor P.L. Lumumba. But for the most part, the sole responsibility of the African Cultural Association is the festival. Correct. And it was formed in year 2000, and ever since then, from 2000 till COVID of 2020, we had African Festival every year. So it was the COVID that gave us the pause, but then soon after that we came back big. So ACA has a board that directs most of activities of ACA, and I happen to be the president of that board now. But previously there was our sister Livenia, who was president for a long time. There were people like Roberto Moyeni, people like Steve, a gentleman from Liberia. So we've had people that were president of ACA, but they moved along till eventually, I became, the president. So our sole purpose, but then on top of the ACA, ACA is made up of the board and then a ton of volunteers. These people are just the backbone of the ACA, and we can't thank them enough. People like Sister Mercy, there is Sister Saratu, Maria, a ton of people, David Fofana, Pastor Jerry over at Christ Jubilee Ministries, over there on Smith Street. These are people who give us their time, their talent, and their treasure without minding, and they are actually, I call them the backbone of the festival, and we appreciate them.
So I heard you say the organization, the African Cultural Association, was formed in 2000 to put on these festivals, and then 25 years later, you're here doing it. Going back to that first one, were the two of you a part of the first one in 2000?
She was. I wasn't, but I was aware. It happened that Saturday there was something else going on in town that I needed to be at.
Okay.
So I wasn't there, but I was following whatever they were doing, right, from offsite.
And I heard you mention, as we were talking off air, that you've had it at the JFK Civic Center. Was that the original site?
Yes, that was the original
When
site.
did you move to Sampas Pavilion?
I think that move was sometime in 2006.
It took us a little bit of time, and it was a smaller showing, but then we outgrew the space. So
yes.
quickly,
Obviously.
I don't remember when we moved.
Yes, I think it must have been 2006, and then we moved to the regatta field. The regatta field had challenges where we needed a podium and also we needed a stage and electricity. Then we went to Sampas Pavilion sometime around 2009, and it has been there. The state looks forward to participating with us in the festival at the pavilion.
Yeah, and you had to move because of 𝐀𝐟𝐫𝐢𝐜𝐚𝐧, but there are people who come in from all over. Like, how far away do you get visitors from?
Believe it or not, we've had people come from New York, upstate New York.
No kidding.
And yes, I had someone show up from Mississippi a few years ago.
How about the performers?
Oh, performers are all over the place. This year we have sometime in 2009 and 10, we on the board insisted on grooming the young generation performers around town. Because a couple of years earlier, we had put in a young band, and we saw that they had a lot of attraction. So subsequently, we felt we should groom the young artists and performers. And one of them has done very well, that he has online recordings and performances where he has millions of people that follow him. And he moved to New York doing very well. And we're bringing him from New York to come and perform at this festival.
You remembered where he came from.
I remember where he came from. I was actually looking at his picture just yesterday as we were finishing the program, and I said, I remember this kid. He was little. He was a young man when we brought him on the first time. So that is one of the things that really, it's satisfactory. It's very satisfactory, things that we benefit from at the festival.
I can imagine. We're chatting with Mercy Anampiu, Ben Opara from the African Cultural Association. We're talking about this Saturday's African Festival Lowell, the 2025 edition of it, bigger and better than ever. Social media, you have a Facebook page, which we'll tell people about to get to and see the full list of events, which we put out there as well on InsideLowell. But all right, so you talked about music and performers.
What else?
Talk to me a little bit about the lineup. Who else is going to be performing this year, and how many different nations will actually have music?
Our performers this year, one of the band that I'm looking forward to this year is a gentleman from Malawi, and this gentleman, if reading his bio, is amazing. This gentleman came to this country and has managed to really put together a good musical ensemble. They have performed severally local around town and also Boston, and his band has grown. I knew when he came here as a young man, but now he has a pretty good, pretty sound band. They call their band African Roots Band, and to him, music is a form of ministry, and it's just so lovely seeing him. I've snuck up on him, watching him play in various stages before, and I just see what the guy can do on stage. So we're bringing him on, and then there's a young man also beside the one that is coming from New York. There's another young group local that they attend Middlesex Community College, and some of them are UMass. Lowell, and I have also seen them, and they are very, very high octane. Then talk about the Afrobeats band of Boston.
Woohoo!
It's gonna be big.
I take it that's the one where everybody's going, where's Mercy? I need this. And she's looking at the band,
I'm gonna be dancing.
This is the one.
Somebody described them. Somebody just said the simplest way to describe this band is electric.
Excellent.
So part of the thing that they have on their website is Let's Dance.
Excellent.
All right, so you can't have music without dancing, and we know Mercy's going to be dancing. I'm pretty sure you'll be up to.
I will try.
Are there any other dance groups that are performing or demonstrations?
This year we are bringing a group from Maine. And their expertise is West African masquerade dance ensemble. And this is the first time that we are bringing a masquerade group. So they come with everything tradition, and we're looking forward to seeing them. They should be arriving here first on Saturday morning, and we don't know who will be masked, but we know that it's a masquerade coming. And we look forward to that.
School. Did you forget about children?
Oh my goodness, Mr. O and his group of young percussionists. They are incredible. They have actually been a lot of gratitude to Mr. O and what he has done with LCCPS. They have been a staple with African Festival for years. Every year, Mr. O will even reach out to want to participate, and it's been wonderful what he has done for us, and what he has done with those kids at LCCPS.
LCCPS, the Lowell Community Charter Public School.
Yes.
Mr. O, is he a teacher?
Yes, he's the music director. I will remember his name, but everyone calls him Mr. O.
Just Mr. O.
Yes. Some people only need one name. He just needs one.
Oh, yeah, one name.
Yes.
All right. So we have music, we have dance. I understand you have a fashion show.
Yes,
as
we
well.
do.
Are you gonna have Ben walking the runway, or do we have real models?
We're gonna try
We have real models.
We have real models, but I think Ben can join the fashion show if he cares to. Yeah. So
Well, I will try.
I'm looking at your vest and I'm thinking,
Yes, I know.
perhaps
Look at her.
Richie
She's
should
suited
be
for that.
on the runway.
Oh yeah.
maybe.
Is this you did this? Was it last year?
Yes, we did it last year. We've done it previously, but last year okay, that's another thing with the fashion show.
Yes.
In as much as it didn't start last year, but we saw that it was drawing a lot of attention. People come looking for the fashion show, and somehow if you're on the stage during the festival, you could see what is attracting people. So previously we saw this fashion show. At the point, because it takes so much time to organize, I was getting disenchanted. Then that year I said, this is quite interesting. As soon as the fashion show begins, you see people flocking to the stage. So last year we increased it, and then this, because from the performance last year also, we saw that this really needs some attention from us. So the board really put in a lot of energy, and one of the organizers of the fashion show, despite Valerie, my wife, anchoring the whole thing, this young lady has done well also in fashion in New York, Manhattan, and she's coming down to anchor it alongside with my wife. So we're looking forward to that. So this will be nice if Sister Mercy can walk the stage.
Yes, and the beautiful thing about the fashion show, it's not just Africans showing off the outfits. It's really even mainstream people wearing our African attire and just walking that runway looking so beautiful and gorgeous. I mean, it feels so good to see other people enjoying the fashion show.
I love it. Will there be vendors there, perhaps selling some of the clothing and some of the cultural artifacts and whatnot?
One of the supporters of the festival, who is the designers of those clothing that the models will wear, is also participating in the festival, and I think she's booth number N16, I think. So that's one of the vendors, and there are other vendors selling clothing and artifacts and various other arts and crafts of African descent. We're not going to talk about the food yet. When we get to that bridge, we cross it.
I saved the food for last. That's my personal favorite part of any festival. But the food. How many different food vendors do we have? Who are they, and what are some of the items? What's the one item that I have to get? I think last year you told me I had to go get the goats. Was it the goat stew?
That's it. The goat.
That's still this year. That's the one.
The goat stew, the spicy food from West Africa is my favorite. The samosa, you don't want to miss the samosa.
Yes.
What else? The jollof rice.
The jollof rice, the West African jollof, and then the cassava leaves.
The cassava leaves, that's what I was looking for. The cassava leaves is like a staple of which country, really? It's really
Liberia.
it's Liberia.
It's West Africa, but it's it's anchored in Liberia.
Yeah. So
what's a cassava leaf?
It's a cassava.
Do you know cassava?
I do.
Cassava is a tropical plant.
Yucca?
It is called yucca in the
that I've
Caribbean.
heard of. Okay.
Yes, it's the same thing as cassava. So the leaf, they make delicacy of vegetables with the leaves, and it's very popular in Liberia. Liberia, which is a West African country. Liberia and part of Sierra Leone, I think. So that's what some of us look at.
The interesting thing is that this is why I was telling you that it's really a taste of Africa and an introduction and educational opportunity. In my culture, cassava leaves were not edible. We never ate them.
Absolutely.
But I came to this festival and I learned about the cassava leaf and I tried it, and boy, is it good.
Yes.
Yeah. So you really have to get exposed to your own culture. People think that you know your culture. If Ben and I started having a conversation in our language, none of us have any clue. Our only medium of communication is English. So people assume that you guys are from Africa, you must know each other. No, we have no clue who this guy is until we showed up here. No, literally. So it's really an education for all of us. Each country has its own language. Each country has its own languages, not just one. In Kenya, we have close to over maybe 50 languages.
Nigeria,
so
close to
200 languages in Nigeria. These are just
in each country?
In Nigeria,
so those are just two countries we're talking here.
Oh, yes.
So imagine the entire continent of Africa. We don't have one language except maybe English now. But yeah, so it's a lot of opportunity for all of us to get educated.
Which also makes the culture more of a uniting point, right?
Exactly.
You put a couple of musicians from different parts of the world together, they can perform, eventually they can perform together. That becomes their language.
Universal
and
language.
Music and dance and food as well, you know.
Exactly.
I was trying to think of, like, you know, the types of things you could do with the cassava leaves. And I'm thinking, you know, maybe we could roll some, we Greeks make the stuffed grape leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
What if we rolled up some rice and ground beef?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Put a little lemon on it. Now we're talking. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, and maybe we should talk about the other food vendor that we introduced this year.
Yes, this year we had to introduce a couple of food. Previously we've had 6 food vendor booths, but this year we had to increase it to 8, and we decided because we have diasporan Africans, you know, that, you know, I call them diasporan Africans, you know, even part of Brazil, from the Caribbean, from Jamaica. So we had to introduce a couple of food booths this time from Dominican Republic, and I think another gentleman from either Argentina or Brazil. Then we are bringing a lemonade stand also, despite the ice cream stand that usually stops by, just to accommodate everyone and everyone's appetite for the Saturday.
All right. So, I mean, I'm sold.
Good. You're welcome.
Sounds like this should be a 2-day thing. You want to take that on maybe for the 25th anniversary? And
Maybe, you got us thinking, you know.
Make you work even harder.
The issue has come up a few times, you know. This is the second day, but not yet.
But it sounds like you've grown to the point now where you're adding a lot of components, and it's, you know, so it's really, people should get there. 11 o'clock is when everything starts.
Yes. Well, festival starts at 11.
Festival
but it really
starts at 11.
doesn't kick in till around 12. But for 11, the band will begin to play. The band might actually start to play by 10:30.
Well, if you get there by 12 or 1, you got to wait in the food line. If you get there at 11, you get the food first. Yes. Right? So, all right. Yeah. So it's 11 till 6?
Till 6, yes.
Okay.
The last performance at 6. But people
leave at 7.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're outside in public land. They're not going to kick you out, right?
Kick us out.
Maybe the musicians keep playing a few minutes extra.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Why not?
Why not?
Why not? It's a lot of fun. So it's a 7-hour event. I can do the math, 11 a.m. to 6.
Yes.
But you mentioned something about January. People get together and start thinking. How many days of planning does it take to get into this? And how many different people, you mentioned the council, you mentioned the volunteers. I know it takes dozens, if not hundreds of people to put something like this on. Talk a little bit about those folks and those groups, if you would, please.
I'll let Samasa talk about that.
So it's different. I mean, I know a few. Obviously, we have membership that meets we in the beginning we meet on a monthly basis, and then towards the end of the festival we are meeting every week. So those are the volunteers that Ben has established along with his crew. I don't know who else to mention, because that's where I I engage myself.
Yes.
We want to make sure that we are selling T-shirts. One thing we didn't talk about is that obviously the festival has to make some money. We cannot work without some money. So one of the ways that we make some little income is really selling T-shirts at a very nominal price of $10 a T-shirt.
Geez.
I should have come with one. It's beautiful color. It's burgundy, but it's a very nice burgundy color.
Every year, different
Every
color.
year, different color. So if you want a festival T-shirt, please come by. There's an informational booth that you can buy your own festival T-shirt.
$10?
$10 only.
for a
Oh,
tee?
is it 15?
No, it's 10.
It's still 10. I thought it was 15 for so many years. It's really 10. We want to make it.
We need to get you some business involved.
I know.
For something that's specific to a special event like this 23 plus years ago,
I know.
you probably sell it for a lot. It becomes a collector's item.
Yes, exactly.
Year,
I mean, collector's item and a souvenir
We wanna
every
make
year,
it-
different
wanna
color,
make it-
different,
yeah.
just different
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
You
And
know, so
then-
it's been wonderful.
Yeah, Livenia, maybe you can talk about Livenia and what she does.
Yes, Livenia. Livenia. She's not able to come with us today because she has
Dwelling House of Hope.
Yes,
Yeah.
she runs Dwelling House of Hope.
Yeah.
There's the bereavement in the family, so
Yeah.
Livenia is one of our anchors, and you know she was been with this festival right from year
Start.
one,
Yep.
and Livenia has managed the resources of the festival like no other. Between Livenia and Sister Jackie over
LCCPS.
over at LCCPS, Brother Gordon that runs, the ACCL. These are people that really have volunteered their time to the festival, right from January from December, that's when we begin to update the website and get things simmering a little bit there. Then January kicks in and we begin those bi-weekly meetings, and then towards the festival, sometime in June we begin the weekly meetings. So it takes hours and hours of work and to put together the festival, and some of the folks that really do it, and our vendors are wonderful. We have had vendors that are constantly with us year in, year out, even when, because you know how it is with inflation and so on, putting together a festival get more and more expensive. That field, we almost paid tripled, at the amount we paid a few years ago just to have that event, coupled with security also. We have to secure the place. So reluctantly, we've had to increase our prices or put prices and so on. But these people have remained steadfast with us. And then our sponsors have been incredible.
Yeah, give them a little love, if you would.
Yes.
Senator Kennedy has been wonderful with his support, with the Commonwealth of Mass, Senate of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Theodore Edson Parker Foundation has been wonderful with us. Mercy is advisor to the Parker Foundation now. They have been wonderful to us. Eastern Bank, Enterprise Bank, Shindeak. These are really yourself with, word of mouth that you have, services that you have, given us over the years. We really do appreciate all the support that we've received, from the community and, state.
And a lot more. We might have forgotten a few
Yes.
others. I mean, the academic institutions.
Yes, UMass Lowell,
Yes.
Middle
The
Community
hospital.
College,
Yeah.
these are really, is CTI,
Lowell Community Health Center.
Lowell Community Health Center.
So basically, the usual suspects, the people who
Plus.
are always in there every
Yes.
day,
Yes.
working in the community
Yes.
in some way, shape, or form,
Correct.
and the businesses that support them,
Exactly.
they're all on board, which I'm glad to hear. I'm glad you're getting this level of
Indeed,
support.
indeed. They are
from
really,
folks
they've
indeed.
been on board and, even calling us. I would receive calls from yesterday, today, tomorrow. I know more calls are coming tomorrow. Innovation, Charter School are calling us. We need to get in there and support you guys. It's just wonderful, and it's,
That's awesome to hear, and I'm glad I looked at the weather. It's going to be nice and warm and steamy.
Finally.
A Saturday without rain. Whatever you did, whoever you prayed to,
Our
it
African
worked.
God. I must say that it's the African God that is so faithful. Yes.
We were joking about Ben saying the chosen people.
We are the
When it
chosen.
comes to a Saturday weather, you have been the chosen people.
Exactly.
Everybody else is not
Gotten drenched.
Yeah, the drumming is gonna be happening. So we thank God for that.
Absolutely love it. All right, what's the web address where people can go see everything, including the full schedule?
www.africanfestivallowell.org. Don't bother don't get concerned if there are two L's. Just AfricanFestivalLowell.org.
Google will find it. Also on social media, African Festival Lowell 2025. You have a page, you have an event page.
Yes, we do. On Facebook and website.
And also stay with Inside Lowell. We'll have links to all these things as well. We've already been putting them on social media. But Mercy, Anampiu, Ben Opara, thank you so much for joining me. You just got me all excited about it. And we'll see you on Saturday. And I'm looking forward to another great celebration.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you. Thank you to Mercy. Thank you to Ben. And thank you for tuning in as well. Hopefully we gave you an inside view of the African Festival Lowell 2025. A great tradition, a lot of fun. It's one of the reasons why Lowell is, we call it the best city in the world, because these are the kind of events and cultures that we get to celebrate pretty much every weekend in the summer, and we find time to do it in the winter as well. So thank you for joining us. We'll be back again soon here with another Inside View podcast. Till next time, stay safe, and we'll catch you on the other side.